What is going on, guys? Josiah LaRue here, and today we're going to be comparing the iPhone 7 to the iPhone 6. So let's do this. So yeah guys, I just got my new iPhone 7 and you can see that in my last unboxing video right here, but I wanted to do a little bit of a comparison test between the 6 and the 7. So there's a full 2 generations in between this, definitely a lot of new features in this one, but how old and how bad is the 6 versus the 7? So let's do some comparison tests and see just how fast and better the 7 is versus the 6. So the first test I wanted to do was using the camera. Now Apple bragged about how much better the iPhone 7 camera was over the 6 and 6S, so I wanted to see how good it really is. So I took a couple of toys that I received in my Loot Crate boxes, another series you should definitely check out, and put them on a black background and started taking pictures with the 7 and the 6. And from zoomed out close range, they look very similar, but when you start to zoom in is where it really shows, and I'll be showing some overlay images here, but the 6 definitely gets more fuzzy the closer in it gets. The 7 was still very crisp and very clean. There wasn't a huge difference, but I definitely think that's because I was shining a lot of good light on it. Low light conditions, this camera definitely shines. Next up, I wanted to get a real hardware performance test, and I didn't want to just do it artificially of, oh, this web page loads faster or whatever. So I downloaded Geekbench on both and ran their scores, and the iPhone 7 is pretty impressive. Basically, just what Apple said, double. The iPhone 7 got a score of 3159 on its single core and 4623 on its multi-core, versus 155 on the single core and 2525 on the dual core. So it's interesting. Also, looking at the specs, this thing sees it as a iPhone 9.1, iPhone 7, but it only rates it as an ARAM processor with 2 processors. What that is it doesn't quite know how to realize the 4 cores, the 2 high efficiency cores and the 2 high power cores. So with the high power cores, it can crunch through numbers really fast, then switching back to the high efficiency cores for normal everyday use. This thing just has the dual cores, which ramp up and down depending on how much you need. It also views this thing as a lot lower in the megahertz, 984 versus 1.98. But that's a 1.98 max. This is 9.84 on the low ones, and then somewhere in the 2 gigahertz range for the high power cores. This thing also does confirm that it does indeed have 2 gigs of RAM versus 1 gig, 980 megabytes versus 1,900 some odd megabytes. So double the RAM definitely helps with the overall performance, how fast it can run, and how many apps you can have loaded in at one time. In memory copy and memory latency, it was a difference of at least 125% of the iPhone 7 versus the iPhone 6. Memory bandwidth was also much improved, with it being over 190% faster than the iPhone 6, so you definitely get more speed out of your memory as well. When doing comparison benchmarks on both the single core and the multi-core, the iPhone 7 absolutely crushes it. Even the iPad Pro with its revolutionary A9X chip, it's under it by at least a couple hundred points. So this iPhone 7 is definitely very fast and very impressive. But I'm sure the next generation of the iPad Pro will have an even better processor. But for now, king of the hill. Now the iPhone 7 does have improved speakers, but they're not amazing. Now you do get better sound because it does have dual speakers on the bottom and then what Apple's calling stereo sound, doing the same thing as HTC, where they're also blowing sound out of your earpiece as well. So it's definitely amped up, but I wouldn't say it's really any better sounding than the iPhone 6. So it's basically the same speakers, just providing a little bit more drive, a little more oomph. You don't have to turn it up quite as loud. Like I was having it at 3 down, was almost about the same as max on the iPhone 6. So you can hear it a little bit better, but I would say they're about the same quality as of just stock out the box speakers. Good enough to listen to, but not really super high fidelity. But if you want super high fidelity, you're going to want to listen to it over the Lightning cable, or if you want to do 3.5, the Lightning to 3.5 millimeter adapter. The one thing that the iPhone 7 does have that the 6 doesn't, and I was kind of frustrated with, is the raise to wake. So if you raise it up off the table or kind of look at it, it can tell from the accelerometers and it automatically turns on. So I'm not sure how much I'll use that because that might be a battery draining feature. I might turn that off, but it is kind of cool just playing with it, being able to lift it up, look at it, and then set it down and it turns off. One of the first apps that I've actually seen utilizing this even on the 6 was Pokemon Go. If you're not actually looking at it, or if you stick it in your pocket, it'll shut the screen off. Then you pick the screen back up, it'll automatically realize, oh, you're walking around, you're trying to mess with it, turn the screen back on. Great battery saving feature, particularly for a game like that. So it's cool to see Apple is doing that OS-wide on the phone. Now the next thing I wanted to test was overall network speed. Now these are the devices on the same network doing the same test at the same time. The iPhone 6 actually read a little bit slower on its overall download speed, but almost a megabit faster on its upload speed. So that was interesting, but again, these aren't really great tests. This is just overall speed of what you can get theoretically out of your router to the nearest hop. So they're going to be about the same overall in internet speed. This thing definitely did download all of my apps pretty quickly. It took about 20-25 minutes, so that was really nice. As for the home button on both of these, they are interesting. The iPhone 6 is definitely slower overall in the login, but I mean, it's a few fractions of a second to almost a second. Like, if I push on this, it's in. Like, boom, automatically. This, you got to push it and hold for a slight bit longer. It's not substantial, but it's definitely noticeable. This will definitely log in faster than the 6 will. But that was already proven. The 6S and now the 7 both have the improved Touch ID sensor, the Gen 2 over the original Gen 1. So definitely improvements. The home button on this one is definitely interesting. You can actually set 3 different levels of haptic click, kind of a soft, a medium, and then one that literally feels like you're pushing the bottom of the screen in. Like, it's so clunky, it feels like almost a mouse depress on the MacBook. Like, it is substantially clicky. Like, I almost thought I was pushing the screen down for a second of how clicky it is. So depending on how clicky you want your button, you can definitely tell it's not a click. Like, the button physically doesn't go down. You can feel it, it's just a vibration. But it's noticeable enough that I can tell when I hit the button. It's adjustable to however clicky I want it, but it's definitely not the same. That being said, I don't really care. I've used haptic feedback like this before on not only on my Apple Watch, but also on a MacBook, so I definitely know what to expect. I think some people who didn't know what to expect are definitely going to be maybe a little bit weirded out, but you don't really have any option, and I'm pretty sure once people start using it for a little while, they'll definitely get used to it. I did use the earpods that came with this on both the 6 and the 7, and they sounded fine. I mean, it's just audio pumped out over your Lightning adapter instead of your 3.5 jack. And really, audio quality is going to largely depend on the headphones and the drivers, so, you know, that's just Apple's run-of-the-mill basic headphones. Works fine if you're just trying to listen to everyday stuff, but it's definitely nothing to write home about, nothing high quality. But it works, and it'll work in anything that has a Lightning adapter. So anywhere all the way back to the iPhone 5, you can use your Lightning earpods. So yeah guys, that has been my quick little video of comparing the iPhone 6 to the new iPhone 7. I definitely will be doing a video in the next couple weeks after I've used this phone as a daily driver for a while, and I'll do my full review, what it's like to use the brand new iPhone 7 with the faster processor, different home button, and no headphone jack. So definitely hit the subscribe button so you don't miss that. Let me know in the comment box down below, what did you think about the video? Have you gotten an iPhone 7 and gotten a chance to play around with it yet, or maybe even at the Apple stores? What do you think about my comparison versus the 6 to the 7, the new camera, the overall speeds, the internet speeds, the low light performance of the camera, and the other features? Nothing huge and groundbreaking, but definitely good, solid improvements from the 7 to the 6. What did you think was the most outstanding? What's the best feature? Let me know in the comment box down below. As always guys, thanks for watching. Remember, you can check out my last video, my unboxing right here, what I talked about right here. Hit that like and subscribe button down below so you don't miss any future videos about the iPhone 7. Check me out on social media, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!